Okay, welcome back to Freetrail's pre-race interviews. This one with reigning CCC champion, doing CCC for the second time, hailing from South Africa, the great Toni McCann. Toni, thanks for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's very cool to be here.
So again, you won CCC last year, OCC the year before. Maybe quickly just start with a meditation on what this UTMB week has meant to you personally, athletically, in your career.
I mean, UTMB the whole week was kind of like the race that got me super excited about trail running. Honestly, the first time I heard about it was probably back in 2018, and I was like, heck yeah, I want to do this. I had a friend who came over for CCC, and he got absolutely destroyed, but he loved every second of it, and I guess that's what got the bug bit. And yeah, ever since then, this is now my fifth year here in a row. So I feel like this has become a staple in my year, and it's a very special race. It's like the gathering of the community is super, super cool, and I'm always super grateful to be a part of it. And I mean, it's the platform that has kind of made my career grow at such an exponential rate. Yeah. So yeah, I'm always super happy to come back.
Winning here does change a person's life, I think.
Yeah, in like weird ways though. I wouldn't say, I think after my OCC win, I was like, yeah, it's going to change my life. And then I was like, kind of the same. Yeah. Like nothing's really changed.
Except for, your Instagram account probably gets...
Yeah, a couple more thousand people. And then you're like, okay, that's about it really. Which I guess is pretty cool.
Well, there's very few individuals who've won multiple times here, you being one of them. I pulled just the other names, and we've been talking about it here on our shows this week. But in addition to you, Blandine Lahirandel has won 2 out of 3. Katie Scheid, John Albin, Xavier Thevenard, Ruth Croft, Mao Yao. Those are all incredible athletes. What does it mean to you to be part of this exclusive club of individuals who have won multiple times here and won multiple distances here?
It's always pretty surreal, honestly, to consider myself as part of that group of people, because they're all such incredible athletes, and I still look up to them. I still feel very maybe inexperienced, or I don't know. It's just quite hard to comprehend that you're part of that group, and that you deserve to be there. I think that's always the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Imposter syndrome is a very real thing to slip into, especially when you do so much training on your own, and you're, I don't have a huge like running group with me in Annecy, so it's easy to forget that you deserve to belong there. So hearing you say it, it's like, oh wow, I'm not sure that. Like, I don't know if my name should be among those, but it's good to remember that I earned my spot there. It didn't get handed to me. Yeah,
very, very cool. So back at CCC, second year in a row. It was your debut last year. Well, I'll remember that I tried to give you very serious peer pressure to accept your golden ticket to Western States, which you earned at CCC last year. I was unsuccessful in that. I'm well known for my peer pressuring abilities, though not always successful. What made you want to come back here this year again?
Well, that golden ticket is pretty tempting.
Oh, really? This year it is tempting. Breaking news.
That definitely was not the goal to come back. Yeah. I feel like last year I had obviously a pretty successful race, but I just feel like I didn't do everything in a way that I'm super happy with. I feel like there are lots of things that I could improve on. Being a debut 100K, I'm sure that's always the case. Mm-hmm. So coming back is really just me wanting to shave off the minutes I know I can, and to see if I can run it faster. The weather conditions are looking a little bit tricky, a little bit different to last year, so it might be an interesting day. But at the end of the day, I think last year I was mostly happy with my race, but it was not a day that I look back on with a lot of joy, despite the fact that I won, which is...
Say more about that. What specifically do you think you can do better, or what about it is less than satisfying? Because, I mean, as a fan, as a spectator, as a former pro athlete, if I would have won CCC on even in an imperfect day, I would look back on it with nothing but total pride and joy.
I'm not saying I'm not proud. Obviously, I was super proud of the day, and I'm really proud of myself for what I endured to get to that point. But I think I ran with so little joy. And I want that's my goal this year. Is like, obviously I want to do well. I want to get a good time. Obviously I want to be in the podium if I can be, but I want to run with a lot more joy this year. I feel like I was just in my head too much last year with a lot of negative self-talk. And this year I'm trying to flip that script and just run happy.
Yeah. You posted recently that you intentionally did a little bit more course recon here. As you mentioned, you live nearby, but I remember us talking about this last year of you saying like, I actually didn't even see the first half of the course, I think it was.
I hadn't seen the section. I hadn't seen from Anneva to Champelac.
Okay. So you intentionally did spend a little bit more time there. Tell us about that intention, how you hope it pays off in the race.
Yeah, I completely regretted not seeing that section last year. That was probably the lowest point for me. It was just mentally a slog. I think it's also a very long section to not see your crew and like to know that they're coming up, but it's just so runnable and it's so much descent, and mentally like I just wasn't ready for that in the race. So yeah, happy to have seen a lot more of it. I still think it's going to be a really hard section of the race. It always is, you know, descending 20 Ks and 1500 meters is never going to be easy, but at least now I know what I'm in for and I can pace myself properly, hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, very happy to have seen a bit more of it.
So coming back to the ways in which this race has changed your life, or just having been a back-to-back champion here at UTMB week, is there anything that's a disadvantage as part of that? Obviously, I think it not only increases pressure, expectations, maybe demands on your time. Practically speaking, I think this might be an interesting visual and just into the life of Toni McCann. Like, are there things that have come about by virtue of your success that have maybe made it a little bit more challenging to, you know, compete at the same level?
I guess I would say yes, but it really depends on your personality. And for me, as much as I would call myself an introvert, I actually get a lot of energy from doing things like this, and, you know, doing the interviews and seeing people on the street who are excited about racing and like excited to meet you and, you know, all of that stuff. So I feel like for me to have those additional requests now, and there are quite a few more now this year, I'm actually super excited about it. I think it helps me get in the right mindset, which I feel like is really important for me at the moment. I think this build-up has been not as straightforward as last year. So being here and having spent now, I'm going into my second week here, it's really just helping me get into the right frame of mind. And yeah, I feel like this is adding to the excitement and mental readiness to get to the start line excited to race.
So you just mentioned it here, and you mentioned it before we got started, that it hasn't been a totally straightforward summer build-up. Can you share a little bit more about that?
We myself and my partner decided to do everything all in one summer. So we got married, we bought a house, we threw in a bunch of family stuff, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Lots of super high highs, lots of really hard times, but we decided to just full on life this summer, which timing wise was not great, and I could feel it. My body just didn't love all the additional I'm going to call it stress, because as much as getting married and buying a house is super exciting, it is stressful, and it's a lot more responsibility now. So I think I just didn't manage that super well. And yeah, I've had niggles pop up, and it's been a bit more cross training than I would have liked, and maybe not as many hours running as I would have liked, but I'm hoping that it's still going to be enough.
Isn't that a remarkable phenomenon of being a human being, of the internal manifests in your physical body, and when you're stressed out in your brain and your heart, you feel it maybe in your hip or in your knee or in your ankle?
Yeah. It's incredible. I'm reminded of it all the time, and every time I forget to like be a little bit kinder to yourself, because and also I think often you only think about the negative stress, you know, something happens to a family member, or you've had a fallout with someone, and that emotional stress of that, you think of that as going to impact you. So you maybe then consider, okay, maybe I should take a break or whatever. But when it's something super positive, like getting married. Like, it's super exciting. You shouldn't be upset. Like, this shouldn't stress you out. Yeah. But it's just like that extra level of emotional input that takes away from potential training time. And I don't regret any of the decisions we've made this year. I'm obviously super happy, but it's just been a little bit more difficult to navigate.
Well, congratulations on the recent wedding and buying a house.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like a real adult now.
Yeah, wow.
Plus I got accountants. What?
Yeah, wow.
Now I'm really adulting.
Yeah, okay, they can take care of the invoicing.
Supreme adult.
Very cool. So we just had Tom Evans in studio, who's your coach.
Yep.
And he made a comment. He said, Toni McCann always finds a way. Like, she's the epitome of finding a way. What do you think he means by that? Or is there an example of this from the buildup that maybe he was suggesting about, like, a place where, you were able to navigate a challenging moment and find a way?
I think what he's referring to is the fact that I'm pretty good at... I think one of my biggest strengths as an athlete is that I've got that big game mentality. And I think it comes from when I played field hockey. It was just like you had to be on for your team. You had to show up. And so I've kind of developed that ability to just switch on when I need to. I'm like, you know how you get people who are really good at training and like crush workouts and absolutely smash huge volume weeks and then get to race day and can never perform?
Yep.
I'm like the inverse of that.
You're a gamer is what we say in the US. Yeah.
I have terrible workouts. I never hit the numbers that I want to hit. I don't run as far as I want in training. It's like completely the opposite of that. And then I can show up on race day and go, yeah, I've done enough. I'm going to crush it and pull something out of the bag, where it's like, technically based on my training, I probably shouldn't have been able to do that. But I think, and this is kind of going back to what you said earlier about like the expectations and the pressure from performing previously, how much more that adds now. I kind of enjoy the pressure. I feel like I always perform best under pressure. So yeah, I kind of think that's what he's referring to. Like my Lavaredo earlier this year, I think I'd had like 4 weeks of good training because I'd been struggling with a hip injury and I'd just gotten married 3 weeks earlier. So it was like really not great. But I kind of just showed up and, did what I could, and it was good enough for the day, but it wasn't what I could have done. But yeah, I guess it was just that like ability to switch on when I need to. So I'm hoping that happens Friday next week.
Toni McCann, a gamer. So speaking of Lavaredo, let's talk about some of the stuff you've done this season. 3 races, 3 victories, all like 30K, 50K. Probably the highlight is that Lavaredo 50K victory. Share a little bit about how you're feeling about the season, how those little stepping stones put you in a position to potentially defend at CCC next weekend.
Yeah, the season obviously has not gone at all how I'd planned. I think I've ticked off one of the races that I'd actually planned to do out of maybe 3. So not ideal, but what I'm super proud of is that I've covered, I did a 20K at Tenerife, which was wildly out of my ballpark and ridiculously hard, but so much fun. And I did a little race in Grenoble a little bit earlier in the year, 30K, which was like a extended cross-country race, also completely out of my ballpark, but really fun. And then going up to Tenerife, the 50K, Lavaredo, the 50K, I feel like I've kind of covered my bases. The only thing I wish I'd been able to do was run something a little bit longer.
I was going to ask you about that. So were you planning to do a longer race in the build-up?
Yeah, so the plan was to do the 75K at Tenerife, but my hip was not great, so I had to drop down. Probably shouldn't have run at all, if I'm perfectly honest, but I'm glad I did because it was super fun. Yeah. And then I'd planned to do the 60K at Maxi Race. So 2 slightly longer races plus Lavaredo. I think that would have given me a little bit more confidence going into this because, I feel like 100Ks is, again, really far. And I haven't quite bridged that gap. I'm kind of going in as blind as I was last year. Yeah. Probably at a disadvantage because now I know how hard it is. Yeah. Last year I was so naive. I was like, this is going to be chill.
I mean, it is actually a really good point, and we talk about it fairly often, reminding everybody that it was your debut at CCC last year when you won, and now you do come in at, you were basically the favorite last year too, but clearly the defending champion this year, but still it's only your second 100K.
Yeah. And I think I'm at a disadvantage because I like last year was really hard, like really freaking hard.
Yeah.
So, there's a bit of fear that it's going to be as hard as that. I kind of hope it's not, but I'm assuming it probably will be.
Well, I mean, in looking at how you've conducted your career and how it's shown up in the race results, to me, it feels like you're really good at picking your spots. Like you're really good at peaking at the right time. Is there anything that would be helpful for the audience to think about like how to structure a season or generally how to arrive at the race that means the most to you and have your best day when it matters most?
I think for me, it's always just been about not racing too much. I think it's really easy to race a lot. It's especially when there's so many incredible races, and obviously there's a lot that I've wanted to do, but I prioritize rather just having consistent weeks rather than like peaking up to a race and then having to recover and then trying to train again. And I feel like for me, that just doesn't work. So really prioritizing, focusing on like maybe 2 goals for the year. And then if you need to do some smaller races in between, cool, but like they're not really necessary. But maybe my secret, this is terrible. Don't do this. This is not good advice. But I feel like literally every year since OCC in 2024, when I won, I've had an injury in May. So I'm like, well, maybe that's my secret weapon. It's just like, don't run for the whole of April and May. Yeah. And then you can't help but arrive and be peaking in August because you didn't run for 2 months in the beginning of the year.
Amazing advice. Just intentionally twist your ankle in April.
Yeah.
Then you're fresh and fit by,
Don't do that.
mid-August, just in time.
I guess it is just prioritizing rest and trying not to be at your peak. You can't be at your peak the whole year, right? Yeah. So like, that was also kind of why I decided initially to move to France, was that I really needed a break from summer. It's like you can't live in a perpetual summer, at least me. Like I needed that slower pace that winter brings. I don't know if it's worked yet because I keep getting injured, but mentally it helps.
Coming back to like Tom and your training and stuff, coming out of CCC last year, there's maybe a temptation to kind of copy and paste what worked, even if it wasn't a perfect day. I'm sure just knowing Tom specifically, but also knowing that you probably came out of it with a lot of learnings, how things maybe changed in this critical training block. I know you're dealing with marriage and other things going on, but was there anything important that you changed in your buildup that was a result of what you learned last year?
Honestly, I would love to say yes. And there was obviously stuff that Tom and I had discussed that we wanted to change. But the injury at the end of July, injury is a bit of a harsh word, maybe niggle, that has just prevented me to like do the things that I wanted to do, has kind of put a spanner in the works. So, honestly, we've kind of just been playing damage control and doing as best as we can. So there's been a little bit less volume, some longer runs thrown in there, but not as many like back-to-back long runs, just really prioritizing the recovery in between that. And then, focusing on some longer intervals uphill. Nothing crazy, honestly, like just consistency.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your perspective on the race itself. We've been talking about it this week. I think the women's CCC race is maybe the race of the weekend. It's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
And we were showing some graphics yesterday. We did a data analysis of the top average UTMB index scores of the top 25, top 50, top 100 athletes. And, it bears out in the stats that the women's race at CCC is very exciting.
Yeah.
Also, yourself, Ingvild Kaspersen, Blandine Lahirondell, the past 3 champions are all in the field.
Yeah.
Which is just a fun story. So, obviously I know you have a lot of respect for your competitors, and I don't expect you to reveal any proprietary information, but if there's anything that you want to share just about this race this weekend and what it means to you to be, lining up again.
I think last year, one of the things that I probably did not so well is that I try to climb out of my comfort zone. And I think that was part of the reason that my quads blew out so early. So I think this year I'm really going to try and focus on not getting caught up in that initial climb, that first climb up to Tête de la Tranche. It's brutal. It's really gnarly. And last year I tried to follow Jasmine, I think she was up front, and she really took it out pretty hard. I assume Ingvild, Blandine, they're both incredibly strong climbers, so I imagine they're probably going to do the same. So yeah, I'm gonna try and stay calm in those sections because I think that's where I'm gonna hurt myself if I'm not careful. I think my strength has always been descending, so if I can capitalize on those sections and just kind of hang on with the climbing, I think that will hopefully pay off. Yeah. But yeah, for me, the crux of this race is always the descent down to La Fouille from Grand Col Ferret. I think that's where people can really hurt themselves. So yeah.
You posted something about this recently. Didn't you say no, it's La Fouille to Champellac.
Yeah.
You said, I hate this section.
It's horrible. There's so much road in it. And it's like sneaky descending. It's like you don't realize you're descending until you look like your quads are hurting and you're like, oh shit, that's not good. Yeah. It's also just sneakily long. Yeah. And you can see Champellac in the distance and you're like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, it's so far away still. So yeah, I think it's just a mentally hard place to be as well because you know you're going to see your crew soon. And I don't know, for me, at least last year, I was desperate to see my crew. I needed to see them at that point. So they came at a good time. They came just in time. Yeah.
Well, Toni, congratulations on all your success, not only here at UTMB Week, but throughout your career. You're so fun to follow. You're great for the sport. We appreciate your willingness to come in and chat with us here this week. And best of luck to you in your second CCC.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully I... don't let anyone down. Actually, no, pressure. I take that back. Hopefully I make myself proud.
You're going to have an amazing day.
And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Toni.